So today, Jonathan and I have come to an enormous monument to Herod the Great, who was the king in the time of the Lord that we read about. The Magi went and visited. And here behind me is Bethlehem. The city you see behind me is Bethlehem today. And we're at the Herodion, where Herod the Great decided to be buried. And it's a very interesting story, how he got buried here and how he built for himself one of his enormous palaces here that some people say this was the most outrageous, outstanding building he ever built. So here we are at the Herodion. Who was Herod the Great? We hear about him already in Matthew in the 2nd chapter. He was, of course, the puppet king of the Roman Empire, and he was called the King of Judea, the King of the Jews. And he is the one who welcomed the Magi, who came from afar from the area of Mesopotamia and came to him and asked him this question: where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him. It is this man who, in his paranoid state of being replaced by another king, inquires, where is this child? Let me go and worship him, okay? And he is the one who fulfills the prophecy in Jeremiah of Rachel weeping for her children, for there are no more of them. And he will send his soldiers in to kill the Christ, all right? When we think about this, at the end of Matthew, we also have another very important question being asked. And of course, this is by Pontius Pilate, who had replaced the kings and now was the governor. And the governor asked him, and I'm reading from Matthew 27, verse 11, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Yeshua said to him, "It is as you say." So the question is, what makes a king? Is it a king who can build 10 desert palaces, as well as an enormous artificial harbor, as well as the largest temple complex on the face of the earth, as well as being filled with jewels and being buried in the most elaborate place? When we think about it, this little child born in a cave in Bethlehem, who is the King of the Jews and the Lord of Lords, and this king who ruled here in great paranoia of having been replaced by who? An infant in a cave to a poor couple from Nazareth? What makes rulership? What makes leadership? It's something that we can think about very clearly when we think of Herodion had in its shadow Bethlehem, the place that was fulfilled, according to Micah, the place where the Christ had to be born. Like all of Herod's palaces, they had the most elaborate accoutrements, such as, of course, a private bathhouse. I'm in what is known as the Tepidarium right now. This was one of 4 parts of a private bathhouse he had here in the Herodion. And when I come to the Tepidarium, I always think of the words of the Lord written to the churches in the book of Revelation. So this elaborate bathhouse that we see here, and we see them in all of Herod's palaces, of course, with everything else, reminds us that God is looking for people who will be hot for him, will be extreme for him. And he can handle if you're cold. But if you're playing politically correct, if you are just being tepid and a mixture, God never does mixture. He is the God of yea and nay. We're about to go into the water system. Just to mention, Herod had the water taken from Bethlehem and canaled here so that he could have the largest ancient swimming pool in the world. So we're about to go into the water system that, of course, he stole from Bethlehem. Here we go. Okay, right now we're in one of the cisterns that held the water for this incredible mountain palace. And this is just one of many. Of course, later on, after Herod's death, this was used as a place for hiding. And in the second revolt, this was a hideout for the rebels. But here we are in that cistern. Okay, we're standing outside of the palace now, and what's so remarkable about Herod's palace is that he actually had a mountain removed with 10,000 slaves and brought it here and put it on the slopes of this 14-story palace that he was building here. No one had ever seen an artificial mountain. And maybe that's what was referenced when the Lord said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you'll say to the mountain, go throw yourself in the sea. So whether or not you're fascinated with Herod the Great and all of his accomplishments, so much of Israel you see Herod's remains and what he did, I hope that you are fascinated and at least interested in the true King of the Jews.